5 years ago, I made a video on how to build a $500 home gym. I priced that exact same home gym out just the other day, and it equaled over $1,500 bucks. I've been told you can no longer build a $500 home gym, but that is an absolute lie. I've got 5 different $500 home gyms I'm gonna give you today, and my last one is going to be exactly what I would build if I only had 500 bucks and I was building a home gym. Let's get into it. Hey guys, this is Coop from the Budget Gym Co-op. Welcome. We review budget gym equipment and help you build a home gym as cheaply as possible, as versatile as possible. If you want that sort of thing, make sure you subscribe because I've got some really sweet videos coming. Now, I want to build a $500 home gyms, but everybody trains differently. So I've got 5 different $500 or less home gyms that I'm gonna build. These range from bodyweight gyms, dumbbell gyms, powerlifting, hypertrophy, hybrid athlete, all different style of training so that you can find the one that works best for you, and you can kind of pick and choose from the different equipment I have to build your own setup. Now, I have tested and reviewed pretty much everything on the market. I know what people like to use, I know what works best, and I know what's best value, so I'm gonna give you that today. Let's start with a bodyweight only gym. This is for people that wanna do more calisthenics training. Honestly, for those of you that are on a budget, calisthenics and general bodyweight style training is a great way to start your gym. And honestly, the setup I have here is less than 350 bucks. Not all of these go all the way to 500 bucks. I'm gonna give you some tools and then you can add on. So first one is obviously a pull-up bar. You're gonna need a pull-up bar. Now, some of these I have multiple options for. This one, for example, is from Titan Fitness. This one right now is 90 bucks. Literally, I made this yesterday and it was 95 bucks. So this is actually gonna save us 6 bucks. 341 bucks is the total. So this wall-mounted pull-up bar I've used. The reason I like it is because it's adjustable, so you can put it however distance that you want. You can go all the way up to like 52 inches in width, which is ideal. But let's say you're working with cattywampus studs or something that you want to attach it to, you don't want it quite as long. You can make it shorter. You can also add on if you want even more bars, so you can do a really long setup. You can put it on the wall, which is what it's designed for, but they don't tell you this. You can also put it on the ceiling if you'd like. This is a place where you can do a ton of upper body movements and it works really well. The powder coating is good, and for the price with free shipping, you can get cheaper ones on Amazon. In fact, you can go something with like this, which is 80 bucks, so it's just slightly less expensive. Personally, I'd rather spend 10 more bucks and get the service from Titan, and it's gonna be better quality, but either option can be okay. This gives you a great option to build the gym off of. You're gonna be using this a lot, but you're also gonna be attaching things. And the first thing that you're gonna attach to it is one that to me is like an absolute requirement in a budget home gym, and that is gymnastics rings. When I had my first gym in a 1-car garage, one of my absolutely first purchases, which I still own by the way, was gymnastics rings. I bought a pair of plastic yellow Naoya gymnastics rings. They were basically all that was available at the time. Now you can get 5 billion different options. These are from a company called GHB. Some of these items are just random Amazon items. But if you want gymnastics rings from a company that is still very cheap, but is a more reputable company, Rep Fitness surprisingly sells their gymnastics rings in both the FIG standard, the 1.1 or the 1.25 for 40 bucks, including free shipping. So that is an option you can go with, but these are 27 bucks as of this video, 1.25 inch. They also have them for a little bit more if you want to use the carabiner option versus the gymnastic strap option that uses the hit straps. It comes with some extras if you want those extra straps and stuff, which you don't necessarily need, but honestly, these are some of the cheapest and they come with those. But these are wooden rings. If you get some chalk, you can throw these over your pull-up bar and use them for dips, pull-ups, ring rows, push-ups, planches. If you get good enough iron crosses, if you're strong enough, there's just so much you can do with gymnastics rings. If I could have one piece of equipment, it would be an Eleiko heavy mug. No, I'm just kidding. It would be gymnastics rings. Then I would get a bodyweight only gym. I would get some resistance bands. Lots of resistance bands out there. Honestly, there are much higher quality bands than these, but you're on an ultra budget. So if you want to step up, companies like Body Elastics, Clench, and many others make better latex resistance bands. There is a difference in quality. These will, with a long enough time, they will delaminate. So make sure when you're using them, you check them every time for cuts and things like that. But for 30 bucks, you can get 5 different bands, loop resistance bands. Their heaviest band, which is the red one, goes all the way up to 125 pounds of resistance, which, like, how are they judging that? It's probably really far out. But these are really cheap, ways you can add them. And honestly, I was looking at the reviews on Amazon, over 5,300 reviews, and they've got over 4.6 stars. So honestly, for the price, pretty good bands, and depending on the colors you can get them pretty cheap. So these are 30 bucks. You can get more bands or less bands depending on how often you want to use them. But these are bands you can use to help you with pull-ups, to help you with the different movements, say functional trainer type movements, but you don't have a functional trainer. Bands can help replace some of that on a budget. Then I would go with a weight vest. This weight vest is 58 bucks from Cap on Amazon. This is for the 40-pound vest. The Cap vest for a budget, the reason I like it is because it's priced really cheap and they can go really heavy. So this is an option I would look at to add weight to the different body weight movements that you're doing. So you can do a 40-pound for 57 bucks. When I was looking at them, this was kind of like the midpoint of best, because like you go up to 60 pounds, it's 103 bucks, 50 pounds, 83 bucks. I would watch this and wait until you get the exact weight that you want at the best price. Right now, the 40-pound is a really good price, just a little over $1 a pound. That's a great way to add lower body training, but also add weight to your upper body training. Another way I would say just to do this, the cheapest way, get a backpack. Go to your local Goodwill, or if you just got a backpack laying around, use your backpack. You don't even need a weight vest. I think the backpack is kind of underrated. Then Sports Royals parallel bars. I think this is something that you could add. You don't have to, I just want to give you the option. These are essentially dip bars, but they're mobile, they're independent, so you can use them together if you want a little bit more stability for dips than what you would get from rings. I think it just provides a different stimulus. It also allows you to press. If you can just have one, gymnastics rings would be my choice, but I think these are another way to add on. The beauty of a budget bodyweight gym is it's just minimalistic. You can do a lot with this minimalistic setup, and I think this is a way to look at it. Another thing I was gonna add in is a Nordstick. They make them for 40 bucks from the company Nordstick, all the way to 17 bucks, which is what you see here. This allows you to do Nordic curls under a door. So you stick this under a door, and then you have some actual hamstring training. One of the things with bodyweight training with this budget setup is sometimes you're not gonna have enough stuff to actually use to get lower body training. That's the sticking point. You can get a lot of upper body training, but lower body gets hard. This is a way you can get some great hamstring training, knee flexion. I mean, these are freaking tremendous. I just went to a gym, Alex Hormozy, that's probably equipment just alone is a couple $100,000, not kidding. And the movement that we did to start off the entire workout was Nordic curls. The hamstrings feed the wolf. The hamstrings, you look at the best runners in the world, they're gonna have the strongest hamstrings. That would a movement I would definitely do. I'm actually going out to Knees Over Toes guy soon to visit his gym, and he's the Nordic curl guy, in my opinion. He popularized them, and this is a device that he recommends. And then lastly, this is a random one, a little bit more expensive, but I think it has some utility outside, and that is the Rogue Cast Pack Sled. I think a lot of people be like, what, Rogue, this budget? This sled is 85 bucks, made of ductile iron and weighs 20 pounds. For 10 bucks more, you can get it for 30 pounds. Combine this with your backpack setup, you'd have a pulling sled, a extra weight for adding weight, and also something that's just gonna last forever from a company that you can resell because it's Rogue. I think it's a cool piece. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on it, but for all that stuff, 341 bucks. If you add on as well the Nordstick for around 17 bucks, you're still under 400 bucks. Next one, dumbbell only setup. I'm really putting a majority of the expense on the dumbbells. This is what I'd go with. First off, this won't be a surprise to some of you that have been around for a while, but I would go with Eisenleek adjustable dumbbells. You can get them from 50 pounds all the way up to 80 pounds. The reason I like these is you can get a 50-pound pair for 360 bucks. But if you want to do single arm work, then you could take the plates off of one and add them to the other. So you could have a 90-pound dumbbell, 90-pound single dumbbell, and these will last for a really freaking long time. They're very durable dumbbells. We've got them. This is my top recommendation for budget adjustable dumbbells. And if you want to get even heavier dumbbell for 60 bucks, you can have these extra rods right here, and they allow you to add up to 160 pounds for a single dumbbell, which I think is just awesome. So 360 bucks, that eats up a lot of our budget. And then I think you can go with a cheaper adjustable bench. You still want an adjustable bench, and this is not gonna be the perfect adjustable bench. We got 150 bucks or less to work with here. So what I would go with is actually this Cap Barbell Deluxe Utility Weight Bench. They've got them in colors, and the reason you want colors is because they're having to stock more, and that means they can make them even cheaper. I just want a cheap bench and I wanted to get it done. This is a similar, if not the exact same design. Sam, what was that brand? Fuel Performance, 99 bucks. Okay, this is this similar design. So if you wanna go with this one from Walmart, you can get it, and it's 99 bucks right now as I'm looking at it. Every dollar counts, folks, on a budget $500 gym. So what I would get is I would get this Cap one from Amazon. And also what I do this all the time. I'd go in, I'd look at all the colors, and I'd see if any of them are like in Amazon warehouse. So you get a scratch and dent bench. It's gonna work just fine. You can return it. There we go. There we go. Yes. Okay. My gold boy. 77 bucks. Oh, it's acceptable. I really feel acceptable. It's kind of makes me nervous, but you know, you can always return it. 77 bucks for that bench, an adjustable bench with a locking. That's the thing. A lot of benches today aren't even locking. They're ladder system. So I'd get this locking bench for around 70, 77 bucks, and that just allows you to buy other stuff or save money. When people are like, I just can't start a home gym because I only have 500 bucks. I don't have any money. I've got 1,000 bucks. Listen, you can still do it. Just start small. This is how you do it. And then what I do, I would add some rings. I'd add some $27 rings. That gives me a bench. That gives me dumbbells. That gives me Olympic rings. If you gotta have something attached to you, you get a pull-up bar too, but I bet you could find something around your house, apartment, whatever, that you could attach the rings to, whether that's under deck, whether that's basement joists, you name it. Just make it happen, and you have a great setup, all for 500 bucks. And another thing I put on here, just as an option, you could get a horse stall mat. You could get a Tractor Supply horse stall mat for around 50, 55 bucks, sometimes less, for 35 bucks. And then you have a place to basically, like, you can set your dumbbells down, you can put your bench there, you have a station. Okay, then this next one is a powerlifting gym. Now, I do have to give a caveat for this. And this will upset some people, but this is just the reality of the situation. I'm not gonna add any weight plates to this order because honestly, I don't know how much weight you lift, and I don't wanna throw out like fake, like, all right, 45 pounds for this much. I do have some plates on here I will recommend, but for this setup, I'm really looking at the equipment outside of the weight for the $500 budget. My recommendation for weight plates is slag iron on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, as cheaply as you can find it. So I would look for slag iron, but if you're looking for plates, the cheapest plates are the FitVids 2-inch cast iron plates or the Cap Easy Grip plates. They're very similar in price. I like these because they look just like a standard barbell plate. They're 90 bucks right now for a pair of 45s. That is $1 a pound. You can get budget bumper plates, Hulk Fit or Balance From or Essentials. Those are different ones you can look at for budget bumper plates, and sometimes they're cheaper. If I just for recommending, if I was gonna recommend this to a friend, which you guys are my friends, so I'm gonna recommend this to you, I would go with iron weight plates, even if they're just slightly more, because I think you're gonna have a better experience, unless you're dropping them. Unless you're doing power cleans and Olympic weightlifting, then you can go with bumpers, but for most of you, I'd go with something like this. So, but then what equipment would I fill in here? Well, first, if I'm powerlifting, I want a safe rack with safeties. So the rack I would go with is not like a squat stand. I would go with a full-on power rack, and I'd go with the Balance From PC1 series, 1,000 pound power rack. The fact that this is 150 bucks, we got it for 130 bucks. So you can find it for even less. I've seen it all the way down near 100 bucks for a 4-post power rack, 1,000 pound capacity. And they didn't just stop with the bare essentials. No, it's got a multi-grip pull-up bar. You can add on a lat pull down for 175 bucks. You can add on weight plate holders. You can add a T-bar row you can add on for a landmine, which is nice. J-hooks, you can have extra J-hooks, but they also include dip horns built in, also include a low row foot plate on the bottom, and the most important for powerlifting, you've got safety so you don't die while you're lifting. I like this. We brought it in. I cannot believe the price. Okay, so we got 150 bucks. I then go with the barbell. Your barbell matters a lot. Depending on your budget, I've got a couple options here. I'd love you to get a lifetime barbell, something like a Texas Power Bar, something like a Rogue Ohio Power Bar, which a Rogue Ohio Power Bar right now for a black zinc version is 265 bucks. It's Black Friday, but you could get a raw steel one from them for about 265 bucks. So honestly, if I was gonna stretch my budget on any of this stuff, it'd be on the barbells, because the barbell you're gonna use every time. You want one that lasts a long time, and they're not that much more expensive than a cheaper bar. But I'm trying to save as much money for you guys as possible. The first one I'd recommend is this one. This is a Makolo 7-foot bar. I would buy it from Walmart because it's much cheaper than what you'd find on Amazon for the exact same bar. This is the cheapest I've seen it. 110 bucks. It's got 190K tensile strength, which that's what an Ohio bar has. The reason I like it, the knurling is okay. It's a lighter knurl. It just can hold a lot of weight. It's the cheapest I found that holds this amount of weight. In fact, I can't find a bar cheaper that really holds much less weight. I mean, this is just a great deal right now. So this one I'd look at. There's also this one right here, hand bowed. It's a 7-foot bar for 70 bucks. It doesn't hold quite as much weight, but one of the things that is nice about this, it has center knurling. You want center knurling for squats. You're gonna do squat, deadlift, bench. You're gonna want that knurling on your back so it doesn't fall off. So 90 bucks, doesn't hold as much weight, not as high tensile strength, but it is a 30mm shaft, which the other one is 28mm shaft for the Makolo. It's just like, and no center knurling, but it's cheap. So if you want something that doesn't hold quite as much weight, has a thicker diameter, I mean, that other bar would be great for deadlifts, but for presses wouldn't feel all that great, and same on your back. The hand bowed, 1,000-pound rated, 30mm shaft, center knurling, 70 bucks. Nice. But then another one I'd look at, and I've had for a long time, Cap Boss bar. They make the Beast bar, they make the Boss bar. I've got both. The Boss I've had for a long time. It's got a center knurl, not quite as high tensile strength, but it's pretty well tested. Been around a long time. The tensile strength is lower, 132K tensile strength. It's got a 28.5mm diameter, but it does have the center knurling. It has a 5-year warranty from Cap, which is actually a real company. Hand bowed. Does that sound like a real company to you? Doesn't to me. So that's what I look for bars. But your squat, deadlift, bench, you need a bench. The bench I'd go with this flat boy. This is the Barbell Standard Competition Flat Bench, 153 bucks. The reason I'd go with this, you can go with cheaper options. There's some cheaper flat bench. You could go with an Amazon Basics bench for 49 bucks. The problem is if you're going heavy on bench, you want a nice thick pad. You want it to be 17 inches or so for an IPF standard, and you want to be able to tuck your feet in with a tripod design. This has all of those, my friends, and 153 bucks. 1,000-pound capacity. They're using 11-gauge steel, has wheels on the back, handle on the front. For a power lifter on a budget, I think this is a good bench. So I'd spend, it's kind of funny, this costs just as much as the squat rack, but if you look at options, you're gonna find the options for a flat bench that is rated for powerlifting, and in the specs and everything, there's not a lot of options. So then I would say another option that I would add on here, I would suggest building a DIY platform with some stall mats, with some plywood, and that's gonna get you, this whole setup here is gonna be around 500 bucks. 502 bucks is what this ends up at. For powerlifting, great freaking setup. All right, two more. One's Hybrid Athlete, and one is the Do-It-All $500 gym that I would pick if I was building a gym. So the Hybrid Athlete gym, this is basically CrossFitters, people that are just doing a bunch of different stuff. You want to condition, you want to strength train, but you're not necessarily looking at barbells and things like that. These are some things I'd look at. One, adjustable kettlebell. This one goes all the way up to 32 kilograms, which is 70 pounds or so. I mean, this is a adjustable kettlebell. I don't love this style because you have to use a tool, but it's what you get on a budget. This can be anywhere from 200 bucks or less. I've seen it less than this with free shipping. 200 bucks from Titan. There are other companies making this, many. One other company that's making it is Bells of Steel. The reason I recommend the Titan is you'll see the Bells of Steel is a little bit more expensive. It's 280 bucks for a similar amount of weight. I'm pretty sure this is 32 kilograms too. Yeah, 12 to 32 kilograms. But for a hybrid athlete, somebody that's doing a lot of stuff, you can just get a ton done with a kettlebell. I love kettlebells. I don't train with them a ton because it's not my style of training, but on a budget home gym, I think a kettlebell is hard to beat. I would then add some strongman sandbags. I like strongman sandbags. I would go with either strongman or I'd go with one with handles. I have recommendations for both. For the strongman ones, Shogun sandbags, they're strongman sandbags. You can get them on Amazon, all the way from 50 pounds up to 200 pounds. These will light you up. There is just nothing more grunt work like than using a sandbag. This one, you get a 50 pound for 60 bucks. I noticed the green's a little bit cheaper, so I don't care about the color. Just give me whatever's cheapest. You get a 200 pound for 97 bucks. I just look at them and compare prices. There are other companies making these, but just generally I'd recommend Strongman sandbags. Or you can go with a sandbag that has handles. These are from Polyfit. There's just a lot you can do with sandbags, both grunt work, but also you can do strength work with them, especially the ones with the handles. You can throw them on your back for running, rucking, you know, if you're doing hybrid type training, squatting, rows. I like these Polyfits because of the bags they're using. They're using like this Velcro system that folds over many times. So the sand shouldn't come out. They go all the way up to 100 pounds for 80 bucks for a 100 pound bag, and you just buy a bunch of sand to fill it in. And it comes with the filler bags. The 60 pound ones are 65 bucks, 80 pounds, 70 bucks. I think these are great. Personally, I would just get a 100 pounder and I would buy some extra filler bags and I would just fill them in if I wanted less weight or more weight. Yeah, they're gonna move around more, but I just consider that harder style training. And as a hybrid athlete, you're not doing bodybuilding. You don't need a ton of like stability. The instability is part of the training. So these are ones that I would look at. And I think you can get a lot done with sandbags. I would then recommend a jump rope, $6 jump rope. I would not go with a speed rope. I would go with a licorice rope personally. I like the licorice style, $6. Plyo box, I would also do a DIY plyo box. You can check GarageGymReviews.com for ones that we built in the past. They're very helpful and cheap. I would also get some adjustable dumbbells though. I think adjustable dumbbells for farmer's carries, for presses, all that sort of stuff. I don't think you have to get a bench. I'm gonna recommend a bench because they're cheap, but I think these dumbbells will be helpful in your training. You can get a 2 pair of 52.5 adjustable dumbbells. They're the spin lock for 130 bucks. So you're getting over 100 pounds of weight for 130 bucks. For an adjustable dumbbell. I mean, honestly, you can still find deals today. That's the thing. You can still find deals. You can still build a gym for less than 500 bucks. And then I would recommend a bench. You can go with a cat bench, a Amazon Basic bench, Marcy bench. This cat bench is 42 bucks for the black color. Again, the colors cost more, but you can get it used very good for 38 bucks. Sign me up. It's going to be taller than you really want. It's 19 inches, but you're not doing powerlifting, so that doesn't matter as much. This gives you a stable platform to jump on, to lunge on, to press on, to sit on when you're doing shoulder press, those sort of movements. I would recommend a bench for more hybrid athletes. And then I would go with a horse stall mat, and all of that 488 bucks for those of you that are more just general training. And then the last one, this is the best of all. This is what I would build if I had 500 bucks burning a hole in my pocket and I was restarting my gym. That's all I had. This is exactly what I would build. And the type of training, for those of you that don't know me, I do a little bit of everything. I am somewhat hybrid, but I do a lot more bodybuilding type training. I like more stability. I think they're more fun. I use more machines, but this is what I would do. First, I would go with a rack. I would either go with the Balance From rack, that yellow one that I showed earlier for 130 bucks, but I would also be fine with this rack. This is a $75 squat stand from Cap Barbell. You can't get a cheaper rack. I've tested it, loaded up. So if you're worried about weight, this can hold it. And I'm telling you, not because I've just read online. No, I've actually in person put the weight on. 75 bucks for the white one. Again, I don't give a rip about the color. Just go with whatever color's cheapest. They've got a yellow one, 75 bucks. The carbon's 110 bucks. You know, it's just go with that, whichever's cheapest. You can add dip attachments, but I would add something else instead of the dip attachments. But there we go. We've got that rack. That's your base. You can do a lot with it. I would then add a landmine, 19 bucks. The reason I get this one is my rack on the back here has holders for my bar. So I would just place this landmine in that holder right there. It's a $19 landmine from my Uno, whoever that is, coupon price, 19 bucks, gets the job done. I put my barbell in there and I would just go to town on that thing. Another option you could add is this $35 multi-grip handle from BRT Gym. This is something that you can add for pressing, biking pressing. You can also add it for rows. You can add it for T-bar rows. There's just a lot of movements you can do with this, and it's only 35 bucks. Okay, moving on. Then I'd go with a bench. This is gonna be kind of a sleeper pick. This is a little bit unique, but let me explain why I'd go with this. I love adjustable benches, but adjustable benches get more expensive. I'm trying to save as much money as possible. So if something's 80 bucks versus this 70 bucks, I may go with this. And actually I'd go even cheaper because I'd go with Amazon Warehouse, 65 bucks. The reason I go with this is because it can do flat bench work for pressing, rowing, that sort of thing. 1,000-pound weight capacity. It folds up so I can put it away, but I don't care so much for the folding option so I can put it away. I care for the folding option because what I would do, I'd fold that front leg down and then I'd have an incline bench. See what I'm saying? So you have a flat bench. If you fold only one leg, you have an incline bench. If you fold both legs, you can do floor press or you can just store it away. So this allows me to do an incline press cheaper than I can pretty much find any incline press that I'd want to use with weight capacity. This is what I would buy. I'd buy something like, I'd buy that or something similar. There may be cheaper options. That's the cheapest option I could find as I was looking at it. Then I would go with this is gonna be weird, a single Olympic dumbbell handle. Reason being, I'd love to have two. And if I have the money for two, but I've only got 500 bucks, I'd love to have two, but if I only got one, I'd be fine with it because I could do single arm RDLs, I could do single arm presses, single arm shoulder presses, single arm rows, and I could just switch. Yes, I would love to have some Eisenlinks, but 28 bucks for an Olympic handle that has 6.5 loading sleeve, 28 millimeter, fully knurled and rotates with bushings for 28 bucks shipped to my door, I'm in for. Folks, this would allow me to have more money to buy weight plates. So then I could get heavier for all those movements. I would love to have two, and if I had enough money, I'd add another one. But with one, I'd be fine with. Then I would do a pull-up bar. I'd do a doorway pull-up bar, and I'd do it for 28 bucks. I am fine with a doorway pull-up bar. I'm not a doorway pull-up bar disrespecter. Absolutely not. That's like ultimate home gym snobbery is to say, never get a doorway pull-up. No, I still have doorway pull-up bars in my home. My boys get after it on them. I think they're great. Then I would do a barbell. And the barbell I'd get the hand bows. This is a $75 bar. If I'd use my coupon, we got 72 bucks, 1,000-pound rated. It's green. Green's great. That's best price, 1,000-pound. This is gonna get the job done for the different movements I wanna do. I can use it in my rack, and it honestly looked pretty sick. That green on that white squat stand, I'm here for it. Then I'd grab gymnastics rings. There's just so much. This is a sick gym. You can do a lot with this. 27 bucks, gymnastics rings. I already talked about these. I'd add the gymnastics rings. I'd add a pulley system. 19 bucks for a pulley system. This is the pulley I'd add. And I'd use it at the top of the pull-up bar on my rack for 19 bucks. Then I'd go with sandbags. The sandbags I'd go with are the Polyfit sandbags with the handles, like I already mentioned. Then I would go with a band bar. This one is, oh, dude, I love this. Oh, we gotta make this setup for you. We're gonna buy all this stuff. We're gonna build this exact setup because I think it's incredible. $50 bar, band bar, which the X3 bar is insane how much it is. Black Friday sale, 400 bucks. That comes with bands and ground plate. So honestly, their price has gotten better. I think it's because of Black Friday. It's $550 normally. Honestly, that's better price than I was expecting, but still out of our price range. But this has similar functionality for 50 bucks. It has a bar, but also comes with handles that I can use on my bands. And then I would just put the bands like this guy's got on my feet, or I would build like a 2x4 like platform that I could use my bands on. I then get my bands, the Wasaku bands. What a name. Wasaku bands. I'd use these with the loop bands for all my cable work. I'd attach them to the rack. After I weighed down the rack for functional trainer movements, I'd have my pulley for weight. I'd get a $6 licorice jump rope for my conditioning. And then I'd have 11 bucks to take my wife out on a beautiful date after I'm, absolutely jacked and tan from using all my budget $500 gym equipment. The only thing, and I know I'm gonna get the question, is you don't have weight plates. And I know that. The thing is, weight plates, I would love to send you a link to buy weight plates, and I'll send you some if you don't wanna look for used ones. But if you're looking for weight plates cheaply, the cheapest way is to buy used. Look for somebody who doesn't know what they have, is not using them, just wants to get rid of them. I've seen weight plates for free because somebody doesn't want to get them out of their house. So that's what I would do. If you want weight plates, you're obviously gonna have to adjust some of this stuff. But I'm saying just for the equipment, this is a $500 gym that I would build, and then I would try to scrounge up anything I could to get more weight to put on there. So, you wondering if you can build a $500 gym? Don't tell me again you can't do it. These are 5 under $500 gyms that, in my opinion, are absolutely incredible. If you want to see us build any of these gyms, Let us know in the comments. If there's any other products you've used that you want to compare or you want to recommend to people in the comments that you've used on this, I'd love to hear it. This is a sweet community. That's why we call it the Co-op. It's cooperative with the audience. Would love to hear from you in the comments. This is Coop from the Co-op. See you next time. Peace.